Will we get a winner? Moving on to 16, right? Here we are, our fourth battle. It's ended at our 32. Here goes James Deane initiate in that AutoZone Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD Novak. Transitioning nicely against the champ into that second outside zone. Novak just trying to shove around. Is that too much? Gonna need to see that overhead view, get some real dynamic angles here, looking more like a video game here, and we're just gonna need the assist on the different angles. But I'll tell you what, Nick Novak knew who he was going against. He needed to apply the pressure, and he knows that
one more time,
to take a competition timeout this early on. I don't know if that's the wisest move, but it might be what takes you out, because Novak being aggressive, he had to back off, ended up hurting him more than it did helping him being that aggressive. Novak now coming to the second outside zone. He's going to try to put down a blazing run. James Deane tucks it nicely, knows his track. Like I said, winner last year. Can he go back-to-back here in New Jersey? Pass that inside clip, gives him enough room to go ahead and get that initiation. Look at Novak digging deep. Look at the angle.
Yeah.
Just absolutely locked in on that last outside zone, going across the finish line. And again, not only defending, but the first ever four-time champ. If you're a drifter and you're a pro drifter, you got to have a good lead run. But a good drifter and a championship and a winning drifter has a phenomenal chase run. You got James Deane in rearview mirrors, you better look out. Here comes RCP, Rome Charpentier in that lead position. There goes James Deane in that big Mustang, chasing him down. That little 1 Series BMW now into the outside zone, and now coming. Let's see how they handle this inside clip. The one and only, almost touching tires there. Little left foot break there from RCP. That is a momentum zone on the transition. RCP gets in the dirt. Whoa, we are doing tandem, riding the hood, and that was a new one. He was going, I mean, it's a Mustang, but I didn't know it was a rodeo breaking out. Did he have a lasso on him?
Holy.
Wow, that was a German cowboy if I've ever seen one. So here it is, lead. So it's very tough here. Let's see how it plays out here. James Deane, you know, man, he is ripping off that line. You see the car like already sideways on this, like not even on initiation, just drag race into that first outside zone. RCP, he's got nothing to lose. Well, lost his other defender, courtesy of the contact there. But look at him, he is throwing it to the door. RCP giving it all to James the Machine Deane in that last outside zone. RCP gets involved with dirt maybe once again, but James Deane, he is possessed right now.
Man.
Wow.
What a
James.
What a competitor out of both of Rome.
Deane,
just
winner at round 2 in Atlanta. The conditions much wetter, much slicker, but Hiro Manoa would love to take down his hero, coincidentally, across the nose of that Ford Mustang. Might not want to do that. If you saw RCP's BMW, he might attack. All right, here we go. Hiro Manoa into that second outside zone. James Deane tucks in nicely. Look at him mimicking the angle here, throwing it in, and you can see him working that left brake, that left foot brake, right? James Deane now brings it on into that last one. Hiro Manoa almost getting eaten by the Mustang. That is where blood was in the water. All joking aside, RCP got into that. Look at the headlights of Hiro Manoa. No, you know what? Watch. Well, I think he's gonna have a gangster entry here. Literally, the physicality of, okay, he tapped that cone, but it didn't go out of place. So James Deane, big entry there from James Deane. Almost gets lost in smoke, burying him in the smoke. Into that second outside zone. There goes James Deane. I mean, he's getting, Hiro is fighting back. He is nipping it at his ankles right now. The Rugrat is fighting back. Yeah, he might be 15, but he carries big angle. Now across the finish line. I feel like his emotions are all over the place, but we know when push comes to shove, very calculated. And Frederick Osbo leaves the line. We got a clean start. Send it. Frederick Osbo initiates in that first outside zone. James Deane could bring it back just a little bit. Tucks into that pocket. Bathing the Kenda tire smoke in that second outside zone. Puts it right in where it needs to be. James Deane got that good proximity, can massage a little bit more to be parallel to the Toyota Supra. Pass that inside clip in the last outside zone. Both of them bringing it on home. James Deane, you can see almost coming around, but I think that was just him. They're expected to put on perfection. You need to force a mistake. You know what I mean? Because look back into Atlanta, round 2. It was not one, but two one more times to get an eventual victor, that being James Deane. Now we have dry conditions. Go in that second outside zone. Like I said, just put it and try to force a mistake on either side. Look at James tapping the brakes. Osbo massaged it. He adapts very well. Little left foot brake, kind of halted it up, going to that last outside zone. James keeps composure, as is Frederick Osbo. This is what I was talking about. You don't need to overcook it, and you don't need to do that. You just need, because you know the other driver
how this battle's gone through this season.
Here we go. Let's send it between these two giants. I mean, these guys are some arguably, unarguably, some of the best drifters in the world. Frederick Osbo initiates that first outside zone. James takes a different approach on that chase position. In the second outside zone goes Freddie, flirts with the white line on the outside of the outside zone. Now let's see this transition. Boom, right past it. And now going to that last outside zone, there goes Freddie and James in tow. Want to see that overhead view, and so do the boys from Albany. Nice James won here last year.
Yeah.
And the loser gets third place. The winner goes to the finals. Who's going to be? Are we going to have Victor? James Deane, nasty initiation. Came out of it just a little bit. You saw this again. Just knowing how capable James Deane is, you can't make those mistakes. This is what I was talking about. You know, you got to almost force a mistake on the other side, but we know how perfect these guys are. Now coming at last outside zone, snappy. There's that X factor. Going at last outside zone, massive angle from James Deane. And it's still hung on.
I don't know